28 shots and finished with 8 boards and 3 dimes. And look at KD, because last night he became the 6th player to score 32,000 career points with his first 40-point performance this season so far. He joined LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan as the only players to reach the 32,000 mark, and he's now just 287 points away from passing MJ and moving into the top 5 on the all-time scoring list. And so this obviously opens up a bigger question in terms of where you rank Durant's, not just necessarily among the greats I mentioned, but among all the greats in general. What do you think, Stephen A?
I think he's top 10 all time, me personally. When I think about, him, we can try to nail it down and get specific about who's in, who's out. My question is that who we going to look at and see at 7 feet tall with a 7'6" wingspan, with those ball handling skills, that shot making ability from long range, from mid range, from the free throw line. I mean, the guy is absolutely spectacular. There's no way around it. And then when we look at some of the superlatives out here, last night, he tied Kobe Bryant for 5th most 30-point games in NBA history with 431. He also reached the 32,000 career points mark, becoming just the 6th player, obviously, in history that we just highlighted with LeBron and everybody else. 75th anniversary team, 2-time champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP, a regular season MVP, 4 scoring titles, tied for 3rd most all-time behind only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain, 16-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA selection, Rookie of the Year, National College Player of the Year. I mean, my God, you look at this guy and what he has done and what he can still do. Then take into account the fact that essentially, fellas, he missed 2 seasons because of the Achilles tear. And then he got injured early in his career in Oklahoma City. So a legitimate, we're talking about a guy that essentially has missed pretty much 2.5 to 3 years of his career due to injury. And still, he's top 6 all time in scoring, which brings us back to what we had said many years ago, originally, before he had gotten hurt in Oklahoma City. We said, he might be the guy that surpasses Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring league, all-time points total. Obviously his injuries derailed that, but that's who he is. And so I look at it from that standpoint. We could talk about the killer instinct or lack thereof. We didn't see that last night, certainly, but his efficiency as a scorer as well. I think you have to look at Kevin Durant, and I think we have to stop messing around and playing games and stop acting like there's definitively 10 dudes in NBA history who could put up buckets the way that this brother could. I don't believe they exist.
Perk,
the greatest scorer of my lifetime was Jordan that I watched. And, his numbers were affected by his retirements. And if Jordan played in this era, he would score a lot more points because of high possessions and the way defenses are. But Jordan, greatest scorer. After Jordan, Durant, in my view, is the greatest scorer of my lifetime, okay? And I will just say this about Durant's resume. I don't know where he ranks. I don't know if he's 12, 14, 9. I don't know. But 2 things about Durant's resume. Number 1, the 2017 Finals. Stephen A. knows that nothing gets my back up on this show than when people try to denigrate what he did in the 2017 Finals, as if he was riding in the back seat. No.
Exactly.
They don't win it. Do you know how good that Cavs team was? Do you know that in the 2017 Finals, LeBron averaged a 34-point triple-double? Did you just hear what I said? A 34-point triple-double in 2017. Kyrie averaged 30 in that series. Kevin Love averaged 16 and 12. J.R. Smith shot 58% from 3. It was 4-1 because Durant averaged 35 points, 8 rebounds, and shot something like 55%, okay? Second thing, he's the greatest Olympian in the history of basketball, okay? In the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, the Americans lose without him. Nobody talks about that Olympics. Everybody just checks it off and says, oh, yeah. No. They go down to Australia in the semifinals without Durant. He was still recovering from the Achilles. He did not have to play for that team. And he's won a bunch of other gold medals. He's the most accomplished Olympian. And he said he's going to play again. He's going to try to win his 5th gold medal.
All-time leading scorer in Olympic history.
And then the fact that he's been incredible in the NBA. So I think Durant's case is pretty simple.
I do too, and I agree with the both of you, but I'm going to take it a step further. He is the greatest scorer to ever play the game of basketball. The greatest scorer. When you talk about a guy that has 0 flaws, He's Beyonce on the offensive end. He's flawless. We could go down the list and we could look at all the guys that are in the top 5 or top 10 when you talk about, career points in the NBA. We could point out at each individual that they had some type of flaw, right? Because when I think about greatest scorer, not only do I think about what he could do on the offensive end and how, he has no holes in his game, but I also look at efficiency. And when you talk about a guy that's Mr. 50, 40, 90, that's Kevin Durant. And I knew he was destined for this because my first time getting to Oklahoma City, when I got traded there, I arrived in that skating ring at the time. That was the old practice facility. And I remember the Oklahoma City Thunder were in Orlando. They were flying back on the back-to-back. And they got in that night. And usually when you play a back-to-back, the next day is off. I walked up into the practice facility, and no lie, Kevin Durant was on the floor as a youngster with 4 coaches. Brian Keefe was one of them, leading the charge, who's the head coach of the Washington Wizards. And he was getting the ball at half court, working on scoring on 3 to 4 people. And I remember right after that, Kevin Garnett texted me, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, big? What's up, big?" He said, "What's up, big fella? You good?" I said, "Yeah, I'm straight." He said, "Hey, man, tell me about Youngin over there. He work hard?" I had to call him and have a whole hour conversation about him. Kevin Durant used to land. We used to land in cities the night before the game, and he would have a middle school or high school waiting on him to go in there and work on his craft. So this doesn't surprise me one bit. In my eyes, he is the greatest scorer to ever touch the damn basketball.
So Durant now ties Kobe. Go ahead.
The only pushback, well, as great as Kobe was, the scorer that Kevin Durant is, no. I mean, it's definitely Kevin Durant. The only pushback I would give you, Big Perk, and I agree with everything that you've said because that's well known about a lot of it. Some of the details, no. But for the most part, it's well known about Kevin Durant because this is a guy that, he lives, eats, and breathes basketball. So all he wants to do is hoop all the time, all day, every day. He don't load manage. He's never cheated the game. He comes out there and he gives you all he's got. The only pushback that I would give you when it comes to the greatest scorer, it's also about that want it in moments. He is a guy that doesn't mind being deferential. And so when people like myself and Wendy might look at somebody like MJ, who I believe, like Wendy said, MJ is tops, and then there's Kevin Durant, no argument there. I just believe it's because of that reason. But it is also important to point this out because you bring it up, and it's absolutely true. Most career NBA seasons averaging 25 points, 50% shooting from the field, 40% shooting from three-point range. Kevin Durant is the all-time leader in NBA history, including this season, having done it 8 times. To put it in perspective, Dale Ellis did it once. Nikola Jokic has done it twice. LeBron James